Welcome to the Tipsy Guest Podcast. I am your host, Marco Buenrostro, and every week I'm here with the top industry experts, amazing clients, and all my vendor BFFs to bring you the best tips, advice, and juicy behind-the-scenes stories to make wedding and event planning a breeze. So grab your favorite drink and let's get this party started! Hey guys, welcome back to the Tipsy Guest. Marco, your host. And today I have Joel from JC Film Group. How are you, Joel?
I'm good, Marco. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad I'm here too. This is awesome.
I've known you for a long time.
Yeah, we've all come a long way.
We were just talking about it. So, funny story. Joel came to do a video of my for an interior designer.
Yeah.
To my old apartment, and that was probably like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was a cool little video shoot.
It was a cool shoot. It was like kind of promoting like the urban lifestyle, how you decorated your house, the amenities, stuff like that. It was pretty cool.
It was a great video. And I mean, I've always loved your work.
Oh, thanks.
The weddings that we've worked together, I mean, when I see the finished product, it is incredible.
Thank you so much.
Your editing, like everything is so good. How long have you been in business?
So I've been in the industry for about, 14 years. And it's funny when I say that because I work with a lot of like young photographers, and I kind of like.
So when you say 14 years,
yeah, they're like, "Gosh, how old are you?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's been a while." But the industry, probably about 10 years in the industry, because I started doing video, obviously 14 years ago. With doing like street racing and like extreme sports, and I just picked up a camera and wanted to film some cool shit, whatever,
So how did you transition from that into weddings?
Well, so my cousin was getting married, and she asked me, she's like, "Hey, you video stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, I video stuff." And she was like, "Can you film my wedding?" And I was like, "I don't have much gear. I don't even have an extra battery. I had one battery."
Yeah.
This was back in the tapes.
Oh my
Like
God.
when I say 14 years ago, this is when we had tapes. So I was like, I only have one tapes, and I was like, I can reuse the tapes, but I'd be recording over my content, and I don't want to erase my content. And she was like, "I'll buy you as many tapes as you want." And I was like, all right, cool. And I may need some more batteries, and I may need a light. So she bought me all this gear, and the rest was history.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, I know. And she's kind of upset because I've gotten better over the years. She's like, "I want my money back." I'm like, "I'm just kidding." My wedding doesn't look anything like the weddings you do now.
She forced you to film her wedding. That should be your answer.
Yeah, no, I know. And I was like, I thank you so much. And she follows me on our Instagram page on JC Film Group, and she's still a fan. It's just cool. I'm grateful for all that. I was like, "Man, you bought me all this gear. I got to shoot all these events. I kind of reinvested, and it just kind of grew from there."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I know you were saying earlier when we were right before we started recording, so you do corporate stuff as well, right?
Yeah, corporate documentary. I've worked with a lot of nonprofit organizations, like for Habitat for Humanity, Aid the Silent, out in Bernie, different church organizations around San Antonio, Magnolia Realty. We've done a lot of real estate videos too, concerts. We've done lots of silent disco events and concerts at the Hall of the Moon.
I love those events.
Yeah, I actually saw you there working at the...
Yeah, we do their events at Hall of the Moon.
It's so
great.
fun.
Those are like I did a wedding once, and it was a silent wedding. Like
Are
that.
you serious?
I mean, I've been to the concerts, the silent disco concerts or shows, but not an actual wedding. We did this. Where was
the
it?
reception was a silent.
Yeah. So like it was at the Briscoe. So we were. It was interesting.
Wow.
I mean, everybody was having fun because they're really fun.
Yeah.
But seeing it at a wedding was very interesting.
Huh.
It was cool. It was different.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I guess going back into your how you got started and all of that. So I guess what is your favorite thing about filming weddings? I mean, there's so much to it.
No, there really is. So I've been doing this for a while, and I do get asked, "Do you get burnt out on doing them?" Like, I mean, my body's, yes, it
Long
is labor.
days.
It's a long day. You know how it is.
Yeah.
You're standing up all day, and with filming, oh gosh, especially at ranches, when we film out of town, we got to haul all our gear up and down these hills and stuff like that. Not like physically up and down a hill, but we get on an ATV or we get in a truck or a golf cart, and we're hauling all this stuff, and it does get tiring, and it is a lot of labor, but that comes with the territory. And like I said, mentally and the creativity doesn't really burn out, obviously, because I see myself as a filmmaker, as a wedding filmmaker. So I'm constantly always looking to develop new styles of shots, of a shot list, with drone shots and macro shots and Steadicam shots and sound bites and who to interview. So that's really where my creativity comes out with storytelling.
Okay, and I was a good thing that you bring that up with the different type of equipment that you use. I mean, technology changes so much.
Gosh, I know.
So by the time that you're purchasing like this really expensive piece of equipment, then a new version of it is coming.
6 months later, we got the A7S4S 5000 Mark III. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, like it is so intense. So I guess what is do you have a specific style when it comes to your film making?
I think so. So back in the day when I first started, it was like, oh, I'm gonna make a cool music video of your wedding, and like kind of what it is still today, but it's more of like I try to shoot it like kind of like a movie with transitioning from this scene to that scene, and this part of the toast helps transition into this next scene or how the couple met, stuff like that. And that's kind of like just my style of storytelling is very it gradually grows into a faster pace as the reception gets closer and closer within the highlight. We start off with our exterior shots of the venue, or then we move our way into the interiors with all the decor. Everything that they're investing in their big day is getting captured. I tell all my brides, like, you can take you can't take the food home, you can't take the flowers. I mean, you can't take the flowers home, but you know what I'm saying. But you keep the photos, and you keep the video forever. But yeah, that's kind of my style with storytelling. Is I try to let the audience and the bride marinate in the shot a little bit. So I don't really do too fast of a pace. I do, and I edit enough to where it keeps them engaged in the story, like what shot's going to be next. And I try to mix it up from like wide to tight to macro shots to like a drone to inside to like a close-up shot of the ring. Sometimes I'll grab my phone and I'll turn on my flashlight and I'll just like get like a shot of the diamond ring just like sparkling everywhere.
That sounds
so yeah
cool.
we try different things.
And when when a couple hires you, is it just you? Is it a team of videographers?
Yeah.
How does that normally work when they hire you?
It depends on which package they get. Our biggest package is a premiere package, so that does come with 2 videographers. One videographer is dedicated for like the bride, and the one's for the groom and the groomsmen. That way we make sure that we're capturing everything. So we do divide and conquer with that package. We do like guest interviews. We kind of wait till they have a few drinks in them, kind of loosen up a little bit, and then we're like, all right, let's get on camera. Let's have fun with it. Because they're going to remember these guest interviews and all these shots for the rest of their lives. But and then our other packages, it's just me, or I mean, we do have 3 other guys that I shoot with that I trust, and it is kind of tricky on who you trust nowadays to kind of handle your jobs and your projects and your events. But I do have 3 guys that I trust, and they've been shooting with me for a long time. They know my style. They have the same gear as me. I make sure they have the lenses, and that's the thing. Not a lot of brides kind of, and I don't expect them to ask like, what lenses do you use?
Yeah.
That's our job. Like,
you're always gonna get that one though. That's gonna know.
Maybe, yeah. They're like, is this 4K? Is this 1080? Or do y'all do a drone shot? Do you charge extra for drone shots? And I'm like, no, we don't charge extra for that. We bring everything. Because we don't want to like go to a wedding and it's like, oh, we should have brought this. Like, no, we
it's better to bring more than
yeah. With every wedding, we treat it with the most importance. Like seriously. Yeah.
Is there a pattern that you follow each event, or do you customize each experience based on what the couple is asking you to do?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, honestly, it depends on the timing.
Okay.
Seriously. So, like, if we have the time, and photographers will take advantage of this too. Because when I get there, sometimes when I'm filming by myself, I'll see the photographer. We show up at 3 hours before the ceremony starts. So we get our detail shots out of the way, our decor shots, our the details and the bride and the groom getting ready and stuff like that, drone shots, all that takes time. So if we have the time for that, then the pattern kind of, the shot list is the same because we know what to get. We know what's important to the bride. Mm-hmm. But sometimes the pattern does change with like the timing allowed. So it really depends. Sometimes we get there and they're like, the bride's putting on her dress in like 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, cool. So let's get these shots first, and then we'll get the drone shots like later. We'll get all that stuff later because we need these important shots.
I just feel like you guys are against. I mean, time is against you most. Because like, if, I don't know, whatever, like sunset or like if it or the weather, depending on the weather and things like that. When it comes to the product that you deliver to your couples. Mm-hmm. I guess whenever it's time to give them their final product, do they have to review the footage before, or do you just capture the footage, edit it, and then you just deliver the product?
Yeah. I just capture everything. I send them samples of what we do on how we film and the final product, and make sure that, hey, this is what we do. And most of the time, it's like, I love it. I love it. Send me the contract. Let's go over it. Let's get you guys booked. And so that's kind of the pattern that we've been doing, and it's been working, with all the different shots that we get to tell the story. And but yeah, no, that's pretty much it.
Okay, it sounds like an easy process to get the
when
videographer.
You're seasoned. Yeah, I know, right? When you're seasoned, you kind of know what's gonna happen. Not ahead of time, but you are planning, and you're mentally like, okay, they're going to make the grand entrance in like 30 minutes. You need to go be in place, make sure you're tapped into the audio, to the soundboard for the DJ, make sure you're lighting, talk to the planner. Where are they coming in? Are they coming in through this door, these doors, or that door? You never know. So, and things change all the time. So you got to be ready.
Oh yeah. Those timelines are never accurate.
Yeah. We view the timeline before, and we I usually save a picture of it and just save it to my photos. I'm like, okay, that's all right. All right, we have enough time for this. So let's go do this. Yeah.
So when right now that you're saying, about, when they first come in or different shots, what I've noticed, when I work events, from the photo booth, we get to see everything. I like to keep an eye on everything that's happening, during those moments, because we're not taking photos in the photo booth as the when they first walk in or during the first dance. We take a break. We stop it because, of course, those are moments that we don't want people being loud in the photo booth. So that's why I'm always just standing there kind of like looking around. So my question is, do you, I guess, coordinate with the photographer to make sure that you're not on each other's way? How does that normally work when it's, if you're only doing video and then somebody else is doing photography?
No, for sure. I always tell the photographer, I don't tell them that I put them first, but I put them first. Mm-hmm. But I do tell the photographer, like, hey, guys, do what you want. We have, like, for the ceremony, for example, we have 4 camera angles rolling at the same time until the ceremony is completed. And I always tell the photographer, go wherever you want. If you need to move up, we'll move up with you. But we have lenses that will reach that focal length where the photographers aren't in our shots. We're focused like right here with the bride and groom, or a head to toe shot. And that's why I tell them, and we're shooting in 4K, sometimes 6K with our 6K sensors and whatnot. So it allows us to crop in, and you don't lose any quality. Sorry, I'm getting technical, but like,
I'm just looking at you like, what are you talking about?
No, well, that's why I tell them, like, do your thing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. We'll follow your lead. You guys are dealing with the parents, with the siblings, with the grandparents. You guys are directing. we'll direct on our own, or we'll piggyback off the shots that the photographers are getting. So we let the photographers take the lead, and of course we help if they need something. We'll grab something, or sometimes we'll do shots with like the veil, like flying.
I like
floating,
those.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we try to work really well with the photographers. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Have you ever encountered a situation where you don't really connect with the photographer, and then you guys are just trying to beat each other to the shot, or let's get real here.
I know, right? Yeah. No, not really. Not like to the shot, but it is very, very rare when the photographer seems distant. You know what I'm saying? Especially some of these out-of-town photographers. And it was rare, though, because I did work with a photographer back in August where they were from Georgia, and they were great. She was like, hey, I'm done with the shoes if you want to get shots of them, or hey, the bride's dress over there, I already got shots if you want to get shots. I'm like, I love it.
People are nicer in Georgia than they are in Texas.
I mean, I don't know. but like that's what I'm about. I'm team bride, I'm team groom. Let's get these shots. So whenever I'm done with them, I'll ask, hey, if you guys want this before I tear it down or take it down, we'll get creative with shots. But I feel like when I don't know a photographer, and they're kind of distant, where we don't communicate that much, and I'll kind of get a feel for that. It kind of makes for a long day.
Yeah.
You go to a wedding and you don't know anybody there. Most of the time, you know vendors, the caterer or the planner. Or
you feel at home.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this day's going to be great. I'm working with all my vendor friends. It's going to be a good production. Everyone's on the same team. If you want a drink, not a drink, but like if you want a water or a Coke or something.
Everybody just brings it.
Yeah,
like
the bartender's like,
here,
here, take it, go back to work and whatever. Or some of the caterers like, hey, we got plates for y'all. Y'all can eat right now and then go back to doing what you're doing. And I'm like, I love that. When everybody helps each other out. It's
a different feeling for sure when you work with a team of vendors that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Then, when it's somebody that you don't know. And
yeah. But most of the time, let me tell you though, I try to be very presentable to these new photographers that I've never worked with before. And honestly, most of the time it goes great. Seriously. It's a very small percentage when it's like they don't feel like communicating, or they're just distant and they don't ask me questions like, hey, what are you shooting with? And, I think that relationship is important, especially if we're getting shots.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to be in the, shooting the same wedding for at least 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
Which brings up my next question. Normally, how long are you hired for?
Gosh, honestly, on average, probably like 10 hours.
Wow.
10 hours plus. Because the ceremony will start like at, I don't know, let's say 4, but we show up at 1 or 12:30 or something like that. Or we'll factor in traffic. If it's an out-of-town wedding, we'll show up a little earlier. So we have a good 3.5 hours before the ceremony starts. So yeah, about 10 hours plus.
Wow, that's a long day.
It is. I'm like, wow.
Do you? We're
only
there for like 3 hours with the photo booth, but again, people think that, oh yeah, you're just there for 3 hours, but no, we go set up earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Then we go back and do the photos. Then we got to take down,
set up and tear down.
And then there's like a lot of hours behind just showing up to the event. We have to design what the printouts are going to look like. You have to, do all this work.
Troubleshooting too. You never know what's going to happen. You're always going to be on top of your game at a wedding.
For
there's
sure.
No room for errors. Seriously.
It only happens once, so you got to make sure that it's the right, that you have you ever had to like reshoot anything?
Not reshoot. I'm trying to think. Honestly, I mean, we have plenty of SD cards, plenty of batteries, so
you come prepared.
However, there was a wedding that I did out in Sendero Springs, out in Kerrville. And oh my gosh, I left my batteries charging in my office at home. So I had maybe 2 batteries with me at the wedding, and the ceremony was like in an hour. And I was like, holy crap, where the heck are my batteries? I left my batteries at home. I called my wife. I was like, oh gosh, where are you at?
Do you feel like
Please
driving?
Tell me you're home. Yeah. It's like, can you tell me if I left my batteries? She sent me a picture of them, and I was like, oh my gosh.
So what happened?
She ended up backing up and going all the way to Kerrville, and
I know the feeling. It's happened to me where we forget a piece of equipment that's like crucial for
it's vital.
you know.
Yeah.
So
I didn't tell anybody. I was just like, yeah,
dude,
like,
just
smile.
keep going. But you're
she's
sweating.
here. Yeah, I was like, she better freaking be here in like 10 minutes, man. Yeah. But
Oh my
it's
God.
cool. I mean, we hardly ever.
But you know
have
what though?
any-
That's a good sign. You know that like you were going through something, but you never showed that
No,
you were stressing that there was something going on behind closed doors.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it didn't really affect your work. You know, like you got it going and it
Yeah.
worked out at the end of the day.
No, it does. We always make it work, and even with shots, even with ceremonies, like we'll have cameras placed in the back, and then everybody rises when the bride walking down the aisle, and then Uncle Bob just stands up, and everyone's their heads are in the shot, and it's like 2 angles are just gone. We can't use this angle, we can't use this angle, so
Yeah.
that's why we shoot with 4 angles. Like we have a safe, and then we have my Steadicam, so it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna use these 2 shots for the remainder of the procession, and then when everybody sits down, it's like, okay, cool.
That's so cool. Like, I never really paid attention to how many cameras you have going on and stuff like that. So
yeah.
that's good to know. I guess, for our listeners that are right now looking for a videographer, I guess that's good for them to know. What would you say, like 2 questions, for example,
For sure.
that a potential client should ask you that will help them, make a decision when it comes to hiring a videographer?
I don't know. I guess it goes back to style, really.
The style that they want.
The style, the look. You know what I'm saying? I've been told by some of our brides and clients, like, we were looking at other videographers, but we like yours. Yours like seems more cinematic. It didn't seem boring, or vice versa. Like, with anything really, even with photographers, like some photographers shoot bright and vibrant, and some photographers have like darker cinematic tones, and but I mean, like I said, I think it just goes back to style, like, and we hardly get those questions, because they just want to make sure
they already know your work. If they're reaching out to you,
they see it. Yeah, they see it, and they want to make sure you're accountable, you're experienced, and you know what you're doing. Because it's a serious industry.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously. And I get it. You need to start somewhere. To all those videographers out there that are just getting started and trying to get some events under their belt. You do need to start somewhere, and the look of the film will get better, and the pace of the editing will look better, the music choices, and that's another thing too. We don't use obviously you can't use copyright music, so there's like independent filmmaker music that we use, cinematic undertones and ambient music and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I'll tell them. It's gonna be a well pieced together wedding film.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I know your work, and it's incredible. So congratulations on that.
I appreciate it.
And but Joel, we're running out of time.
Cool.
Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Can you let our listeners know where they can find you? Are you active on social media? Do you prefer them to go to your website? What's the 411?
Honestly, we're really active on Instagram. We haven't. I mean, it's like we used to post stuff on Facebook. Oh, I feel like nobody really posts.
Yeah, most
Facebook,
most of my events come through Instagram as well.
Yeah. I mean, Instagram, our website. We're always posting highlights. We're always posting reels and teasers and sneak peeks and stuff like that. So they can get a lot of our previews on Instagram. But if they did want to visit us, they can go to jcfilmgroup.com. They can check out our wedding section, and then they can email us directly if they're interested.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much to our listeners. Thank you for joining us today. We are going to be back next week. Make sure you tell your BFFs about the podcast. If you're getting married, head over to our website. Check out all the other episodes. Every week we have very, very exclusive vendors here at the Tipsy Guest. So make sure you stay and stick around for the next episode. Cheers. Thanks for listening to the Tipsy Guest podcast. If you know someone who could benefit from these tips, spread the love and share it with them. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Next round's on us. Same time, same place. Cheers! This podcast is brought to you by MVP Photo Booth, the #1 photo booth rental company in San Antonio, Austin, and Central Texas.